Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the new anonymised Thursday night live stream for Yellow Belly Tabletop. I'm Mr. Yellow. My co-host, Mr. Belly, and I will be entertaining you for the next 2 hours. Obviously, in the spirit of depersonalising and making corporate everything to do with the entertainment industry, we're no longer allowed to reveal our true identities. Although at around 20 past 8, we will actually be issuing a ransom demand. Oh yeah. That's what the masks are for later. We're hot footing it down Nottingham. Yeah. So good evening to everybody in chat. Hello Tim, hello Darren. Hello David talking to himself, losing his mind. Yeah, he's here. It's amazing. Right, well, having ribbed the shit out of GW, these masks have got to go. I don't know about you, mate, but I can barely see out of my steamed up glasses at this point. And I'm sure the audio sounds absolutely dog shit. So let's lose the masks and let's get back to some proper stuff. Oh. Well, that's all right. Don't panic. Hang on. They can't hear David. Hang on. Oh. Bear with me, everybody. No. It'll be, for some reason, Discord audio. Right, just bear with me, everyone. Oh, for God's sake, how do I do this? I'm just going to kill Discord and restart it again. I don't know what else to do. The Discord is showing as the active thing that it's monitoring. There isn't a reset. Capture audio sessions from the following executable. That's the one I want. So obviously do or don't. Just let me check the settings within Discord. I don't know as it's actually you, so talk for me then. No, I can hear you, but they can't. I'm just gonna kill. No, your settings were fine, mate. Don't mess about with anything. I'm gonna disconnect and restart Discord. Just bear with us. Right, give me a test.
How's that?
Yay!
Any better?
Yeah, there is an echo, maybe. But I think, please sound off in the chat, guys. I think you should have audio from David now. Ah, technology. I hate it. Right. Okay, so I hope somebody's keeping the checklist. Yeah, Tim's on the
Technical
checklist.
difficulties.
Yeah. Mate, there's a massive echo coming into my headphones from you. I don't know if it's coming out for everybody else.
Is that better?
That is the weirdest, most echoey, sinister special effect.
Fuck's sake.
But if it's I can hear you, yes. But if it's only for me, don't worry about it. Right, okay, everybody. Yeah, tech hates me, definitely. Hello, Crispin. Welcome to the fucking chaos.
Of course Crispin has a checklist. He's like a naughty Santa and he's checking the fucker twice.
If that absolutely bizarre echo is coming through for everybody else, please let us know in chat. I'm getting David about 3 times on like a about 200 millisecond delay. Kill the monitoring in OBS is a suggestion from Tim. Properties.
Man has a point.
Discord audio. Monitor's already off on Discord audio, Tim, so I can't do that. It already is. Okay, that's fine. It's just for me, so it's some internal glitch on my system. I will keep living with it. If I ask you to repeat yourself, mate, it's not because I'm taking the piss. It's just because I won't have heard what you said.
Well, at least I've got rid of the mask, so people might be able to hear me better.
Yeah, definitely. So, for everybody who's joining us for the first time, welcome to the Yellow Belly Tabletop live stream. What you've just seen is pretty much normal fucking technological chaos. So over the next 2 hours, we're going to be doing a few things. The first thing that we're going to do is talk about what we're going to be hobbying on tonight. Then we will have a brief chat about what we did at our gaming club Monday just gone. And then we'll have a bit of a waffle and talk about some news items. Hopefully David hasn't got too much to bring up because I haven't got any pages queued for him because I didn't know if he wanted to talk about anything.
No, I'm just going to go on a tirade, okay?
Just going to rant about GW not giving you, give me my stuff!
Well, not even give me my stuff, but we'll come on to that in a bit.
All right, okay. And then about 9 o'clock, we're going to have a chat about our main topic. So, following on from the recent fucking, as always, you know, it's just to give everybody an insight. When David and I are planning these live streams, we try to pick a topic that is going to, in some way, catch
the audience's attention.
Well, no, catch the current news agenda, isn't it, mate? We try to throw that net so it at least partially grabs something. And like so many weeks, the only real news is fucking people trolling GW and shit talking. You know, and it's just I know it's awful, but hopefully we're gonna weave a thread where that's not the only fucking thing we talk about. Them depersonalizing their creators and that.
They just let's look at it this way. They just need to stop being the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it keeps giving us fucking fits. Anyway, so should I go first then with the old camera content?
I'm ready on. I know where you've got echo because my Video Ninja audio was on.
That's it. It's gone. So
that's why.
Yeah, that has definitely fixed it.
Technical difficulties.
Obviously, from your video feed, I'm no longer connecting audio, so that's why nobody heard it at home. So
I'm ready to go live when you are, mate.
I'm gonna go first. So
greedy motherfucker.
David and I are playing Carnivale on Monday, mate, aren't we?
Yeah.
Coming. So bearing in mind we are playing our first proper game of Carnivale. I've had a couple of demo games with other people, but I've not played yet with David. So I'm going to be working...
Just be careful how you phrase that in future, please.
Yeah. Milky. I'm going to be trying to get these fucking vampires tabletop ready. I've already got my leader model, Dracula, painted up and I'm happy with him. But I need to get... So what I've got here are 2... I can't remember what they're called. Henchmen, I think they're called. Which are the... sort of like little guys with wings, sort of homunculus-y things that you can see there. One's crouching.
Second in commands.
And then 2 hero, I believe they're called, level models. So we've got the Strigoi priest, who's the guy in the robe, and the girl with the wings, who I forget what she's called, but she's sort of like a vampire that's designed to kill or beat up larger models. So I don't think it's a particularly well-constructed list, hot to meta, but it's on point. it's on the points limit, and David's only playing with starter sets. So, with my collection being bigger, I just thought I'd sort of try and match to him because it's just easier that way.
Yep.
So that's what I plan to do. I will probably only get some base tones down on the skin, but do you know what? Any progress is progress. So that's what I'm going to be doing. What about you, mate? What are you up to tonight?
Well, if you want to come down to my desktop cam, I'm on currently on Operation Cleanup 3D printed stuff.
Okay, I will do so. So content display, Video Ninja David. Cha-ching!
So we have a painting competition due on the first week of March, don't we?
God, we do.
This is the base for my Behemoth Mini. And you may question, oh, it's a bit small. The reason it's a Behemoth, it's got a massive rock store and it's basically a mining piece of equipment. So we're going to get the rest of this printed off. But I'm currently on Operation Tidy Up the last of my 3D prints before I cure them. Because they are for a game called Star Scrappers that we've spoken about on stream before.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on boshing through Paint and Comp and my faction in the coming couple of weeks.
Okay, so basically by painting competition, then you're going to hopefully have what? Enough for the whole game? Enough to play a whole game ready?
Every single miniature, basically, that they do have one Highlander of each, basically, one of each.
Is that for one or two factions?
For one faction.
For one faction, that's
so there's
cool.
2 guys already printed. There's a big, heavy dude, 2 heroes. So there's this guy called the Trustee. And then somewhere around here is Melody Sanchez. There she is.
Oh, those models do look cool, mate.
And then we've got a couple of miners to tidy up and clean up.
He looks pretty old for a miner.
This one's got a beer belly.
Wait, how old's he?
When clearly old enough to drink beer.
Well, he's not much of a miner then, is he?
3D printing heresy?
Yeah.
No. It's not heresy, Tim.
To be fair, Tim, the models do look good. I've not had a chance to play the game yet, but I will.
You will at some point this year.
I will let everybody know on stream whether it's any good or not. So that's what you're going to be working on.
Western. What's not to like?
Are you going to get any paint down, do you think, mate, or is it basically just clean up and finish assembly tonight?
Clean up, getting these ready for cure and paint, and then if I'm going to get any paint down, it'll be on probably priming some more of club stuff for Dead Zone. Get some primer down on that fucker. Because I've got that to work through as well, haven't I?
Yeah. You have to shout out in the chat, guys, and if you're watching this later on YouTube, in the comments, what are you working on while we're watching? Darren's going to be doing something cool. He's Lizardmen characters. This has got to be for his 5 League stuff, I'm guessing, Darren, because it's generally what you're cracking on with. I must confess, you're quite an impressively consistent individual. You've got good focus with your projects. You get on it and you stay on it by the looks of it till stuff's done. I don't know if that's an unfair observation, but it certainly seems to be that way from what we've seen in the chat when you're around. Crispin's probably at work. And Tim, are you still on bots, I'm guessing? The old bot wall binge. Although you've got to be
Miner's almost had joke level pun.
I mean, can I say it? I'm a dad. Right, okay. Before we move on to anything else, let me just quickly show everybody. So I've just had...
No, before you start showing people... What did we do at Club this week?
No, we're not going to do... Oh, go on then. Okay. Well, actually, this is sort of relevant. So, at Club this week, we played Armada again. And David and I have had one game where we both played with the starter set stuff, wasn't it? Because the club's got the 2-player starter set, which is Basileans and Marauders, the Orc stuff. and the plan was David paints his dwarf set that I bought him for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I paint my salamander starter set that I got this year. And I started really strong, then got absolutely sick as a dog. Then the actual models broke my spirit. So on top of being ill, I'm just going to show it. So this is the biggest one of the three. I can't remember what this ship's called, but everybody can probably see it's about 2/3 of the way there. I need to finish some of this chocolate brown. I need to finish putting the base coats on that. Then I'm going to be washing everything down and then I might add highlights. It depends on how it looks after the wash step.
Just give it a dry brush and you'll be done.
I think, to be fair, it'll pretty much do with being washed and done. But all of the gold that you can see on that boat, it's basically got to be painted with a fine detail brush because it's basically all thin lines. So the relief on the detail isn't good enough to make it possible to overbrush it. You're literally just fine lining everything.
It's filigree.
And much as David and I have sung the praises of Vallejo Model Colour, I am fucking done with Vallejo Model Colour Metallics at this point. This absolutely broke my spirit. This is the Vallejo Model Colour Old Gold, and it's old shit. It covers so badly. I had to paint and paint and paint again. It would look great, then it would dry, and it was all patchy, and you could still see the brown undercoat through pieces of it. And because it's all like fine lines, it's not like it's not like a big panel of armor where the texture sort of works. It's literally, it looks like you've gone along and dotted and dashed every fucking line, and it was driving me absolutely nuts. So basically I said, screw this, I am done at this point. So I have just taken delivery of my first two of the proper metal paints. So I watched, I haven't heard of that one, Darren, but I'll check it out. I watched Vince Venturella's videos quite a bit in the past, and I know he had a thing for this Vallejo model metal color range. He did a really great video on painting with golds, and he did a comparison video of some golds from loads of different manufacturers, and how terrible generally metallics can be. And basically he said the metal color range, there's pretty much no bad paint in it. They're not the cheapest in the world, but they've got aluminium flakes instead of mica, so they've got great metallic sheen. They're really great through an airbrush. So I've bought my first two. Now, he said the gold itself is a bit green, but he said if you just add a drop or two of copper, it balances the colour and gives you a beautiful, rich, antique gold look. So my first two purchases were exactly that, the copper and the gold for the metal colour range. So I'll let you know in the next couple of weeks how much better these are when I finally get round to finishing those salamander ships, because I've still got two more to do in the set. The one that you've just seen is the one that's got basically the only progress on it. The others are just prime.
I know what I meant to ask you.
Yeah.
You got any pictures of the table?
I have.
For the boys and girls at home.
We have a slideshow of that. Oh, that's good to know, Darren. I'm glad I haven't wasted my money. As I say, they do get a very, very good rep. So I hoped that it was going to be good stuff. So yeah, we played. Obviously, David was a complete legend. He is King Hobby at the moment. He managed to smash out his orc fleet.
Dwarf fleet.
Sorry, he managed to smash out his dwarf fleet, and they looked fantastic. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures to show you.
Yes, you do. You have them on the table.
Yes, but then they're not really good pictures. But at some point, I will be getting David to bring them round so that we can. In fact, he can do that this weekend, and
I was
we
going to
will.
say that's Saturday night's job then, isn't it?
Yeah, and we'll add them to our slideshow at the beginning of the show so that people can see, because he really did do a cracking job. And I just replayed the orcs. So here, I just took a couple of action shots just to show what was going on. But it was another fantastic game of Armada. I don't know what you think, mate.
So it was an awesome game of Armada. We played full fat rules, so we had the complicated wind rules, and we did some boarding actions that we didn't do in game one, and some other stuff, didn't we?
Yep.
And we played a different scenario, the Flotsam and Jetsam scenario.
I mean, to be fair, the scenario was fairly complicated. Like you say, we played with the full wind rules, the like advanced game, if you like.
It wasn't a terrible game. I'm just not sold on my fleet. I love them physically and visually. I am just really unsure about their rules, interactions, and the full win rules and the scenario itself. But it's as I said to you, I probably got Warcried. Let's be brutally honest here.
Yeah, I think there was an element of the scenario that we played. In summary, you've got objectives that are placed on the ocean, and then at the end of each turn, any objectives that have not been collected by a ship, which should be within 3 inches at the end of its activation, will then drift with the current. So it was very much a movement-based scenario where the idea was to go and get stuff. And my orc ships, I had 2 movement 5 ships. So that movement advantage.
And you outnumbered me with a boat.
That's true, and I was 4 boats to your 3. So there are a couple of advantages for the scenario that I was just carrying from the get-go. So that was a bit of a problem for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
fuck me though, that Grimstone, man of the match for that boat. 75 hull points and just fucking walking through the middle of all of the shit you're throwing at me.
Yeah.
And barely coming out with a scratch.
I mean, to be fair, that is one of the things about that dwarf fleet. The resilience is absolutely insane. Out of David's 3 ships, I did manage to disable 1, but I got it to surrender.
It surrendered.
Which is ridiculous, because the dwarves re-roll all of their nerve tests.
So just bad dice.
It was,
in that respect.
I was pretty lucky.
Again, it was like my 4 heavy broadside that missed you.
Yeah, and I think you pretty much crippled everything, didn't you? I had one of the big orc hammers just run aground and basically disabled. Apart from it was just shooting cannons at random.
And had a single hull point left on it for a bit.
Yeah, till the crew started patching the holes. The one with the corkscrew on Bloodletter or whatever it's called
surrendered.
It jacked it, sort of like was crushed in a boarding action, wasn't it? And
yeah,
then
absolutely wrecked.
My little mortar ship was basically the same. It was boarded and then reduced to a piece of terrain. I did win the scenario by a couple of points.
What was
I think
it 5-3 by the end?
Yeah, I think so. But there was a large element of luck. But out of the two ships that David didn't disable of mine were the ones that were carrying the points, the tokens with the points on. And even though one was technically beached, it was still in the game and an active model, so I didn't lose the.
Again, it's like my last shot. If that had
tokens.
hit, the game would have been a tie, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, again, a fantastic game. I am so loving Armada. I'm really looking forward to playing some more of it, and I can't wait to get my own fleet finished.
It's an amazing game system. If you are out there and looking at it going, ships, the hobby overhead is fucking negligible with the boats. Yes, there's details and stuff on them, but kitchen sink, everything all in is like, what, 12 minis? For most factions, like,
Yeah,
3 in the
what?
starter set,
What
3 in the other flyers and dreadnoughts.
Yeah, if you're collecting the entire collection for a particular faction.
Yeah.
There are apart from the starter set, there aren't any split box buys, are there, where you're not going to use everything in the box, sort of thing.
No. And the other nice thing they've come out with this week with the release of the new faction, which we can bring up actually, because that is something that is worth mentioning on stream.
Okay, I'll bring that up.
They've now boxed the rules, a neoprene mat, and your tokens all together for 50 quid. Which is not bad.
It is good. I mean, and to be fair, the terrain overhead. I mean, what we've got for the what we're here using on the table here is the pre-painted resin rock set from Game Mat EU, I believe it is, and just some sort of like jungle scatter pieces that we made actually for use with
Drowned
Earth originally, but they work just fine as like tropical looking sandbar-y beaches.
What is it? Hardboard, painted brown, some like dried mixed herbs thrown on as ground cover, and then some aquarium plants glued down with hot glue.
Yeah, it's rough and ready, and it looks a bit garish, but in terms of hobby overhead, there's absolutely nothing there.
Well, again, for fantastical fantasy scenery,
and I think it looks pretty good, frankly. For the amount of work that's gone into it, it's so easy to make this game shine. And another thing that I'll say from the point of view of an old grognard, this game is it might be apparent from the fact that it's a template movement system game, but this game is a game that's old school, like a lot of large scale historicals and rank and flank games. It's won and lost in movement and positioning. It is not a game necessarily about
blowing your opponent out of the water.
No, it's not a game about weight of fire. It's not a game about dice. Yeah, that's exactly what they were made for, Darren. Yeah.
We like our multi-purpose terrain on this channel.
So for those players that like a game that's got massive subtlety and sort of like reliance on movement and positioning to determine the winners and losers, this is a game to look at. I mean, obviously, for those in the know, it is a virtually like for like with Black Sails, I believe it is, which is Warlord's historical naval game.
It's just got magic added to it, hasn't it, and some other bits.
Yeah, I think that there are some differences. I think there's a couple more command and control elements in Black Sails. I think cannon reloading and stuff like that. Definitely not, Tim. And in fact, we talked about it long into the evening at McDonald's. And this game is not about, even good cannons aren't great.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you've got a ship that's absolutely bristling with cannons, and you get within 3 inches, which is like point blank range, and you'll
probably shred your opponent
and give your opponent a good broadside, you'd strip a lot of hull points. But you want to be grappling, going in, finishing off with the old close combat. And as I say, for that shooting to be super effective, you want to be at point blank range, full broadside on,
rear raking shot.
I mean, if you can cross the T and rake as well, and the damage you could probably sink actually without boarding, but that's not easy to do, you know. And we should probably talk a little bit about the advanced wind rules, because one of the things about the in the box wind rules, what you would call the starter game wind rules, I guess is the best way to describe it, is that they're more random than the full
so it's roll
wind rolls.
2d6 on a 5. So on a 2, 3, and 4, the wind will change direction. And on the similar step down from 12, so what's that? 12, 11, 10. So on a 5 to 9, the wind stays stable. On the lower end of the spectrum, it'll move either clockwise or anti-clockwise, and then at the higher end of the spectrum, it's the other way.
Yeah. That's the starter rule.
And the wind direction determines your initiative, which is the key thing here. How the wind would flow across a square table, like from the left-hand side, if it's in the middle of the left-hand side, it flows across the table, sort of obviously parallel to that edge. And as it crosses each boat is when each boat activates. The advanced wind rules. Do you want to start on this one?
Well, the advanced wind rules, they're essentially the same, but there are two differences that are subtle but actually have a massive impact on the game. Obviously, for those of you who've got a statistical mind, if you are changing wind direction on a 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, we work that to be 1, 2, 4. That's 12 in 36, which is about 33% chance that the wind will change one way or the other each turn. With the advanced wind rules, the stable zone changes from 5 to 9 to 4 to 10. So 4 to 10 on 2d6, nothing happens regarding the wind. It stays exactly the same. On a double 1 and a double 6, you either get becalmed or the wind blows a little bit harder and you get bonus movement. And I can't remember which is which. And
becalmed is on the 2, mate. So
right.
You get less movement when you roll snake eyes.
Yeah, and then for the result of a 3 at one end and 11 at the other, which is 4 combinations out of a possible 36, so 1 in 9, you will actually get a change of wind direction to either 1 compass rose point clockwise or anti-clockwise. So the chances of wind direction change drop from 33% to like 11%, 1 in 9.
Yeah.
It's just over 1 in 10. So the chances of wind changing become absolutely way less. Tim put, my winds are stable when I have beans for dinner. Fucking hell. So yeah, so that's the first important change. The wind direction changes way less, which I think is good because it allows you to plan and strategize and removes one element of randomness from games. Because as we've discussed on the stream before, I understand games need to have randomization in them, otherwise they become totally deterministic. See chess stroke drafts. But I don't like too much of it. So the second change, hello, Trevor. The second change with the advanced wind rules is that the maximum speed that your ship can travel is determined by its facing relative to the oncoming wind, which is not taken into account at all during the basic rules. So what that means is if you turn head on into the wind, you have to make a skill test to tack out of it before you can move at all, or you become becalmed. Or if you cannot achieve full speed, the maximum speed of your ship,
when the wind's at the sides,
unless you've got the wind essentially in like a 20-degree arc directly behind your boat. So again, it feeds into this positional play, what orientation you end up with, where you're placing your boats relative to the incoming wind. The fact that it's predictable turn to turn means that is something that you feel you've got more agency over without there being a random frustration element.
Yeah.
I liked the new rules. From a gamer's point of view, I'm definitely a advanced wind guy. I think you're a bit on the fence, mate, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm on the fence because being dwarves, I have a rule about having engines, which is fine. it basically means that when I'm head-on, I can still keep moving at battle speed. So I ignore head-on wind calming me down and slowing me down because I've got my engines.
Yeah, you ignore skill tests at awkward moments.
But, particularly in the game we were playing, I found that it made ain't no shit of difference because I still couldn't be going any faster than battle speed. I'm already slow. And to be brutally honest, I needed speed in that scenario. I needed speed and power, and I had neither. I had battle speed, and that was it. And that's basically 8 inches per turn. Not ideal, but I also am a bit of a lover of the crazy. So we'll happily take a little bit of chaos and not knowing who's going next each turn.
Yeah, that
because
you did.
Of the orientation.
Yeah, you did miss that, didn't you? That because in both of the previous games you'd played the start rules, and I think it was quite an eye opener just how
massively stable the wind was.
Yeah,
it didn't move the entire game. It was blowing just from the west.
That is very true.
The entire turn, I went round the entire board with one of my boats, got it set up to the point of going full speed and having the wind all behind me because he's gone round and navigated and everything, and then fucking the wind died down. So I couldn't go at full speed. Bloody game. So yeah, I'm not a lover. We'll give it another go with the full win rules, but after that game, I will let you boys and girls know at home if I'm a full win rules kind of guy or I'm gonna just be a basic bitch.
I mean, to be fair, it's going to be quite interesting to see. And there's, do you know what? There's no shame in saying no. I prefer this way of playing.
It's not that I prefer it for even game breaking reasons. Frostgrave. I love the fact that in Frostgrave, anyone can take out anyone with a lucky dice roll. Like, I feel that should be part of the thing with the initiative, because otherwise, as you say, you can easily get outplayed and outpositioned, and suddenly the game is no longer a game. There is no variability in it. Do you see my point?
I do think that the advanced win rules would definitely lead to a situation where raw skill will count for the game way more. Do you know what I mean? If you've got that sort of mind where you can plan your movements ahead, almost chess-like, the fact that the wind is completely predictable, frankly, means that you're going to be better than a player who can't do that. So it is definitely going to skew it to a particular skill set. So yeah, that's what we did at club. Again, we both got the same story to tell because we managed to play a game together. It's getting to be a bit of a habit, mate. Playing Carnivale again next week as well.
Carnivale this coming week. So unfortunately, boys and girls, you don't get 2 games next week. You only get a single game.
Yeah. But hopefully it'll be bloody amazing.
Oh, it'll be fucking amazing, mate. Let's be brutally honest here. It's Carnivale. Shall we talk about the news?
Yeah, let's talk about the news. Do
you want me to say my piece about fucking GW while you find the Mantic teasers?
Let me see if I can. Let me just bring up the old. Okay. I'm just going to try and do this. Okay. If everybody can see that, we've got David's custom salt shaker running. So if you want to start talking about GW, mate.
Yeah, let me just put my airbrush down because this requires rant and concentration. So, as I said on stream last week, I have pre-ordered the new Warcry starter set from GW via Goblin Gaming. What's it called? Bloodhunt? Bloodhunt, is it?
I can't remember. I know it's vampires and Khorne.
Vampires versus Khorne, whatever set it is.
I think it's... Yeah, Bloodhunt sounds right.
So, no fault of Goblin Gaming here. Pre-ordered it on the Saturday. When it came out, you missed out on Salt Shackle because FOMO and fucking GW.
Soul Shackle?
Yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm sticking 2 fingers up at the camera.
Then
fucking soul shackle my ass.
I get an email last Friday morning when I'm expecting my fucking parcel to be dispatched for it to be here on the Saturday morning of, unfortunately, GW haven't delivered the goods to us because GW are having logistics issues because they've moved to a new warehouse. We'll aim to get it out to you at some point next week because it should be here the early part of next week, was Goblin Gaming's wording on the email. I checked my email today. Still nothing. So I sent an email to the customer service team at Goblin Gaming, and hats off to the guys. They're fucking amazing.
I was going to say, who I have had great experiences with, even stuff like Malifaux and Infinity products that have been on incredible delayed orders through COVID and shit like that. Those guys have been great communicators in the past. I don't know how you find it, mate.
They're amazing. The one time I ordered 2 rib ties when they only had 1 in stock, they then immediately emailed me.
Yeah.
So, hats off to Goblin Gaming and the team. Spoke to a lad called Pete on email and was like, look, what's going on with this? Because I've heard nothing from you guys. I know there's issues, etc. But what is going on? When can I expect it? This lad comes back to me and goes, honestly, we don't know when GW are going to send it to us. They're now saying it's the early part of next week. I'm sorry, but they're sending other orders to stockists to restock them out of the same fucking warehouse that Warcry and Soul Shackle starter is currently sat in. Part of me, because this is now the second time it's happened on a big release, with pre-orders through third parties are arriving later than if you pre-order directly through GW.
To be fair, mate, don't knock it. At least you had the option to go to a third-party retailer. I didn't with the last Soul.
True.
Whatever it was, Shadow Vaults was GW
But the
exclusive.
point is, I feel they're doing this to spite third-party retailers and to force people to go to themselves directly for pre-orders, so that they get it pre-order weekend and it's guaranteed to be there, etc. If they can even get it, and just milk yet more money out of the market. Do you see my point?
I definitely see your point, mate. And to be honest with you, I agree totally that is exactly how it looks. I was fucking pissed off that I could only order Shadow Vaults through them. And then when Soul Shackle came out and basically
sold out in 30 seconds.
Well, every third-party retailer that I looked at was they weren't even taking pre-orders as such. They were just basically saying, put yourself on a mailing list, we'll let you know when we get some. So I think they'd either heard something or been told something, but they were definitely reluctant to take money for it. And GW sold out in 2 fucking minutes. And again, actually, do you know what? That's the other thing that explains it. We know why they sold out in 2 minutes now, because no other bastard was touching it. So basically, all the sales were funneled through that one portal.
Yeah.
Fucking arseholes.
I know I could not touch DW stuff, Tim, and as I said to Pete, the man at Goblin Gaming, I'm never fucking pre-ordering another GW product ever again.
Yeah.
I like GW products. I like the Amazon team that I got for Christmas this year. I like this Warcry set, which is why I pre-ordered it. Because, again, I didn't know how popular this Warcry set was going to be, and if we'd even see any more. Because some of them have been very limited runs. Some of them have been absolutely kitchen sinks. Do you know what I mean? With how many they've got, stock-wise. So that is why I pre-ordered it, because, again, GW have got prior. Look at the last release of Kill Team, and I can see it going that way with Warcry.
I mean, I know what Tim's saying there, but I'm a bit like you, mate. The thing is, I do like some of their products. I like their models, and not all of their games are complete dog shit.
No, I find, right, here's my 2 cents on GW.
But it's their business
box
practices.
Games, absolutely fucking amazing. Necromunda, Warcry, if you excuse the fact that you can get Warcry and you play it as a narrative game as it is meant to be.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. 40k AOS can go rot in a dumpster fire because no. But they're box games. Yeah, they're good. They're good. They're quality. So I've got all the time in the world for GW box game pre-orders.
But having said that, I think, you know, we're getting there, Tim. And I bet you we're not the only people. I just hope to God that it does start to impact their bottom line and sales, because that's the only mechanism that drives change with large firms. Once the sales numbers start to struggle, once the products can't be moved, once there's no interest or appeal for them. I mean, Hasbro are getting their knickers absolutely knotted over Magic the Gathering, and it's just because of declining sales relative to the product releases. You know, they're ramping up the release schedule, and the figures are like, you know, they are getting more unit sales technically, but compared to the fucking production volume and the development volume, it's like not like for like. And this is why you're seeing them like they're getting fucking slaughtered in the financial press and what have you, because this is all that matters to these big companies, bottom line. And as I say, I have now, Kill Team was my Games Workshop product. I've now missed one of the releases. I'm gonna, if the enthusiasm to follow on is like gone now for me. Anyway, so yeah, that's David's rant about Games Workshop out of the way. You wanted to see the new Armada fleet.
Yeah, so these are the, what are they?
Hang on, no, wait. Let me get the fucking news article up. Oh my god.
The Nereticians or Neritica, isn't it? It's the Sea Faction for Armada, a sea-based game.
I apologize for clippy audio, people, if we're getting it. I'm assuming it'll be in some
Just
sort of...
Go to the shop on Mantic's webpage. It'll be better
yes
than the article, because you can see
oh my god, these are fucking gorgeous. Let me just close this slideshow because we don't need this anymore. So content display, web browser. Ching!
That was a mild rant. I'm sorry. I'll be more salty in future.
I hope the salt shaker animation worked okay, everybody.
Tim said it looked like I got dandruff.
I'm not saying he hasn't, Tim, or it might just be salt. Nobody's been able to tell.
Nobody's licked it to see.
So yeah, this new fleet. I'll be honest, if I hadn't already bought one, if I wasn't already...
technically you didn't buy it.
Well, yes, there is that. But oh my god, fucking these models look amazing. Look at the state of that.
Fucking gorgeous, aren't they?
So this is the booster fleet. We get 4 ships for our money, which is nice. And this is the actual starter that we get. Look at that fucking... I don't know what it is. Is it octopus? Squid? Squidtopus?
There's a squid, what's called a knuckler, which is the bigger, like, dragon type boot.
Yeah. To be
obviously there's an anglerfish.
Yeah, to be fair, there is less variety than some of the other fleets, because obviously that turtle miniature is common to both boxes, isn't it?
Yes, but possibly a different build. Because, again, the dwarves suffer a little from that. There's 2 similar boat times. Okay,
they look identical model-wise, but they've got different cards.
Yes.
Yes, Trident Realms it is. They do look very, very nice. I love the look of them. They are probably going to be my second faction when I get my salamanders up to speed and done. Whether I'll get to them this year or not, I don't know, because as we said earlier in the year, I am trying to restrict my expenditure and not over
Extend.
Clippy the audio. There is your mascot.
Like that. You know the paperclip that you used to get in like old school Microsoft Word.
Oh my god, that is fucking genius. Do you know what, Tim? I wish my animation skills were up to it, mate. But that does sound like absolute genius. If we can get some sort of like paperclip doing a Max Wall. If anybody remembers who Max Wall is, you're probably as old as me. Doing a Max Wall impersonation with a dodgy microphone. Oh my god, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I do want it, Trevor, but I must.
Resist.
Thanks, Cheesy. It's not heresy, it's common sense, mate. It's common sense. One must not spend all of one's money, not on toys. To be fair, I did say I want this to be the year of hobby products. I've got my metallics there.
You need to get yourself some Dirty Down Rust.
Yeah, I want to start expanding on the hobby products that I've got to get the projects done. I will probably be smashing a ton of money on the Army Painter Speed Paint 2.0. I'm not pre-ordering it with a 4-month window. They can stick that up their arse. But when it's launched, I probably will be having it.
Common sense and hobby? Nah, Paul's got no common sense.
Well, that's true, but... So, let's segue almost expertly, we've only got 10 minutes left, to Mantic Games, why I was so blind and why we need to support this company. So, this came up in my video feed. I do not watch a lot of this chat.
Fucking hell, we are professionals. We're segueing between news articles. Fucking hell.
I do not watch a lot of this chap's content. His name is Rob, and he's an American, and that's all I can tell you. But this video is fan-fucking-tastic. It's basically 20 minutes of him. He explains that he did have some bad experiences with Games Workshop in the past, and not Games Workshop, rather, Mantic in the past, and that had led him to be a bit wary of buying Mantic products. And basically, he just says, they've changed, I need to change. Games Workshop are taking the piss at this point. With my 20,000 subscribers, I am going to be backing Mantic products. I am going to be unboxing stuff. I am going to be playing games. I am going to be getting, because he said he's got like League of Infamy fully painted.
Oh my god,
he's got loads of Mantic products that he's had in the background, and he hasn't been an advocate for Mantic. And basically, it's a great video of him saying, and now it's going to change. Mea culpa. This company deserves some support, and I'm going to be giving it. And he just comes across as a really great guy. Down
to earth guy.
Again, I mean, you can tell he's of an age with us, and he says that the problem is he's sort of had like this moment of epiphany where there is absolutely no point us sitting here as 40-year-old, 50-year-old men saying, oh, I wonder when we'll get Space Hulk back, or when there will be rebreathing some life back into fucking, Manowar, or these old products that we've got such fond memories of. And he basically says, they're not going to. We need to wake up and leave it. They have moved on. We need to move on. And it's just a great little video. So,
yeah, stop looking back with rose-tinted glasses.
Yep, and go forward realistic. The next one, I imagine everybody here has seen it. If the painting phase is not already on your internet subscription YouTube list, put it on your YouTube subscription list. The painting phase is fast becoming one of my favourite chat format shows.
Channels.
I get it if you're not necessarily into the painting stuff, although I think Peachy is just brilliant in the way he comes across in terms of painting tutorials, because they're not my bag either, but I even find his stuff entertaining and watchable, because he's so down to earth. It's all very businesslike, and let's just get this shit done, boys. No indulgence at all. But the chat show, I think they do this every week on a Friday. I could be wrong on that, but anyway, it pops up in my video feed at least once a week. And this week they were interviewing James Hewitt, James M. Hewitt, I think, to give him his full moniker, who's now he's a owner of Lazy Cat Games, which is a game design company that works independently with board games and designs its own games. And it's worked with other big designers. I think they've worked with Mantic and Corvus and other people. But it's a great little interview. It's absolute
with Peachy.
Yeah, I mean, Peachy is just fucking brilliant. It was, Darren, yes, it was a great interview. Obviously the title is as clickbaity as fuck. It's just a throwaway question that one of the because what they do with the format of these shows is they say to Patreons, you can pose the questions that we will ask. So it's a great little feedback loop. We encourages their Patreons to join their scheme, etc. Patrons to join their scheme, and they can sort of influence the outcome of the show. And one of the questions was, how would you fix 40k? And James just basically says, I don't really play it anymore. But he said, if you're asking me what my opinion is, 40k doesn't know what game it is. And that's its biggest problem. If your game basically says, I want to be all things to all men, don't ever expect it to be a good game. In fact, pat yourself on the back if you can even make it fucking work. And I think we've said much ourselves, haven't we, mate?
Yep. It's a train wreck, and it's only getting worse.
So, yeah, that is well worth a watch if you haven't watched it already. And the last thing that I've got to share is this Squid Bar Miniatures. It's a video about painting. Obviously, at the moment, they're up to their nutsack in this painting two Titans on this massive diorama build, which they're then going to put into a charity auction. All very commendable, all great. I must confess, I'm a bit take it or leave it. I don't go, oh my god, Warlord Titan. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's a fucking great big piece of resin that nobody's ever going to put any practical use to. But if you really, really basically want to never paint and pick up a brush again, just watch this video for the freehand. Holy shit. That, I can't remember.
It's tasty, is it? Yeah, I can just see it on screen now.
I think it's Emil is the big guy, the main guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the little guy, the short guy with the dark hair, who's his sidekick. But fig me, this guy, he does 2 shoulder pauldrons off one of these Titans with the most insane freehand I've seen in a long time. These things are absolutely beautiful. I mean, they're big canvases, but Jesus Christ. Impressive does not even come close. So, as I say, even if you're not normally a fan of Squid Mars stuff, and to be honest, his videos are a bit hit and miss for me. This video, fucking hell, mate. Hats off. Jesus Christ, these blokes show some serious talent props, and they stick some serious talent props out there. And that's the news, really, as far as I'm concerned, mate. Have you got anything else?
There's not really anything. The only other thing, we'll come back to GW, new Seraphon minis.
New Seraphon minis. Have they got more out this week?
They've teased some more. So they've teased a... what's it fucking called? I know what it's called for one-page rules. It's like a salamander with its keepers.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So I'm on Warhammer Community, which is, I'm guessing, wherever they put it.
It's a gorgeous mini, gorgeous paint scheme. Does it justice? And I'm pleased to see the Seraphon are getting new sculpts because the old world's coming back. So, boys and girls, get those Seraphon out because they look amazing.
I don't know, does anybody else find this? I can't even find news in the Warhammer community. It's like a fucking fire hose. It's like wading through a flood with a plastic bag on your head. There is the stuff.
Well, the plastic bag will at least make it end quicker.
I mean, the stuff just pours out of them. Here we go. Immolate your enemies with a sizzling Seraphon spawn of Chotek. Is this what you're on about, mate?
Yeah.
Wow. Fucking hell, the paint job on that's a bit next level, isn't it?
Yeah, but
holy
fuck me.
Shit.
Compared to the old sculpt,
that's
probably shite cast, is amazing.
The old sculpt was old with a capital OLD, mate. But yeah, that is a pretty amazing fucking update for that sculpt. I do like it a lot. Wow. Are you still going to be getting a Seraphon army, do you think, together? Is that going to be your first rank and flank?
No, because I've got the Dwarven itch, haven't I? When I've got the Seraphon army.
Yeah. Oh, and here's some preposterously ridiculous rules for AOS, which they can stick so far up their arse they can come out the top of their head. Still, back to the miniature, which is actually the good bit. Yeah, that's
the miniature's
cool.
Fucking gorgeous. Yeah. It's amazing. It's genuinely, I went out and bought 3D STLs to build a Seraphon army from OPR because they were amazing. And I didn't see Seraphon getting much love with the AOS releases. Then all of a sudden, it's like a fucking freight train because we've had the new Seraphon banner bearer or Saurus banner bearer. We've had this model. We've got the handlers with this model. I'm sure there'll be more coming.
Yeah, I mean, Limburger's cheese me saying there though, that's something else that I do discuss in the Peachy chat. James M. Hewitt is convinced that the Old World project is all going to be resins out of Forge World, and that none of it's going to use any of the AOS range of miniatures. So they're
that, because we will use the AOS range of miniatures to play it if we're interested in playing it.
They're rebooting all these minis, but I don't know. Do you know what? I'm not invested one way or the other. If the Old World project turns out to be a fucking car crash, I don't care, because I still got all my 8th edition shit, so they can fuck off. I don't care. And I can play Kings of War, so I don't care.
You're a happy camper.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's got past the point where I give a damn either way. So, it's just gone 9 o'clock, mate. Shall we wade into our main topic?
Yeah, let's cut our teeth on hobbying and the people, shall we?
Let me I will do the initial preamble, and then I'll sort of throw it open, and you can interact with chat, and you can put your cases
2
and
cents
stuff
into the meter.
So, obviously, Games Workshop this week, or the end of last week, basically changed the format of their painting videos. So no faces, hands only. Okay? And it's been the talk of the fucking internet. Yet again, what's the news? Well, the news is Games Workshop are a bunch of cunts. And my 2 cents on this is, I get it that they've had some big faces that are part of their multimedia front become popular and become famous in the niche, and then say, right, thanks very much for the opportunity, I'm just off to do something else.
Peachy and Duncan.
Yeah. But this has been going on in TV for decades, right? If you put somebody in a public-facing entertainment role, and that person becomes, by their own right, an entertainer who people find entertaining, Why is that person? Why is it that Games Workshop's whole business is fucking collapsing because this person then says, do you know what, I've had some good years with you, thank you very much, but I'm off to do something else.
Yeah.
Do you know what, man? Either make that person so fucking happy in their job they don't want to leave, or be grateful for the years of good service that they did give you, and have a plan so that you develop people to come in and replace them. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
So their attitude. So they're. I mean, again, everybody's going to spam the comments. Probably you're talking. Don't. It's not this simple. I know that there are other reasons why they want to strip faces out of their painting videos. Because if a painting video is just captioning on the screen and a pair of hands and a miniature under a camera, they can overdub it in Japanese, German, Swedish. There's no lip syncing. So I get it from the point of view of a multinational corporate entity. There are big advantages to taking the head out of shot. Get that? But the other thing that I would push back with is this, right? Everybody who's a sort of like self-supported amateur, like people like even, you know, professionals like Ninjon and Miniac and Angel Heraldes, Juan Hidalgo, right? If you shoot a painting video that is just a miniature in somebody's hands, that static shot is tedious as fuck to look at. Everybody who's filming this sort of content has multiple camera angles, and they will cut between head to camera, hands on display, paintbrush in action, miniature in display mode on a fucking turntable. To actually make those videos entertaining enough to watch, people need those multiple shots. I don't understand why Games Workshop, who've got both the technology and the staff and the fucking resources to produce good quality, would say, yeah, but we need to take people's identities out of it, so don't show their faces, no long shots, none of this. It's sort of like, why? And it's not like we don't know who the fuck they are anyway. I don't get it. And obviously this comes on top of they don't credit game designers anymore. When game rules are released, it's like the team at. And they don't credit miniature sculptors anymore. It's just the team who did. Do you know what? Whatever. I said to David earlier, right? Who else can tell me an industry or a sector where the actual business that employs you wants to depersonalize you to this extent?
I will come across you here.
Go on then.
The industry I work in, which is engineering.
Yep.
If you have an idea at work in certain jobs, doesn't matter if the work idea is work related or not, it can be in your contract that work owns that idea. That
is not an engineering thing. That is universal to 90% of professionals, because my contracts all state that. If I design a spreadsheet to manage staff hours in a small pharmacy branch because head office's system is a bit clunky and I design a better one, my contract states that it belongs to them, not me. That Excel sheet is not mine. And to be fair, I totally get it. It's like if Peachy paints some models at work, they don't belong to him. I get it. If fucking some guy's sitting 3D sculpting at work and he designs a load of 3D sculpts, they don't belong to him. I'm sure he fucking gets that. But why should he be depersonalized? Why should he be a non-entity? Why should he be a non-entity? You know?
Yeah.
If you work at Asda, they make you wear a fucking name badge. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't get it. Absolutely don't get it. So, this attempt to remove the human beings from the entity that is Games Workshop started us on this path where we thought, let's talk a bit about tabletop gaming, but in the context of people. Because one of the unique aspects of our hobby versus like its digital counterpart is that our hobby is highly reliant on people, or historically, our hobby has been highly reliant on communities and other people. You need opponents to play games with. If you've got a community of people to share painting advice and hobby advice and stuff like that, everything goes so much smoother. We're a very social, community driven. Look at games like Dungeons, role-playing games, board games, card games. There are solo options,
but they never quite hit the spot the same. Solo Arkham is not the same as co-op Arkham.
I mean, I put 5 Leagues to the Borderlands in the title in the thumbnail of the video, because it says on the cover, solo wargaming. Do you know what I mean? I think it's not necessarily a bad thing that we are getting some products now coming into the market, particularly what happened with Corona and the fucking Great Plague. Having options is a lovely thing. And in fairness to both 5 Leagues from the Borderland and 5 Parsecs from Home, they have a solo mode, but they can be played, as I understand it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Darren. You're on point here. They are cooperative as well. So multiple players can play the game together and share the experience, but in a cooperative rather than adversarial way. Again, fostering community and friendships and other, these things, other human beings.
Again, narrative campaigns, narrative Necromunda, narrative Blood Bowl leagues.
Well, yeah, any kind of league or campaign, but I play my solo indulgence is Arkham Horror LCG, because to be fair, with modern living, you're going to have times when you want to scratch that gaming itch, but you can't corral a friend or you can't rally somebody. And Arkham is mine. My Arkham LCG is my game, but it can be played with up to 4 players successfully. So it's an option that's on the table, but it's not the only option there.
Again, Arkham Horror board game that I've got a copy of. I've played it solo, I've played it with you, I've played it with lads at club. I mean, playing it, me and you, does seem significantly easier than when we've played it at club. Yeah,
I mean, you get that with board games, though, don't you, mate? Some board games will have an optimal player count. Some games, their peak enjoyment is at 5 or 6 players. Some 2, 3, maybe. More than that, it starts to all fall apart. That's very unique to board gaming. And it is a recognised thing. But so yeah, that was basically the thesis. We were like, human beings are a big thing in our hobby. Discuss. What do you?
Well, again, I'm not being funny. Community is what makes this. The fact that we sit here on a Thursday night, interacting with you guys, talking and discussing GW train wrecks, the news, whatever topic we happen to have picked for the week, is part of why we do this. That, and us chatting shit and having technical difficulties, seems to entertain you lot. It's too much. You already spend a significant amount of time on your own building miniatures, priming miniatures, painting miniatures. It's actually quite hard to, for example, get a group session on the go for like a painting project. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
We've done it once or twice. We've had some very enjoyable evenings once or twice painting miniatures and stuff together. But it's the rarity rather than the rule. The creatures that spend quite a lot of time working on our projects And human interaction, going to a gaming club, getting games in with them, allows us to show off our work as a artist and painter and a hobbyist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. And I don't know if what's the opinion in the chat? Do people think that there is an increasing trend for this sort of like soloization, this isolation element to come into? I mean, I know it's a simple fact. A lot of board games now, after the events of the Great Plague, they're either plugging in or adding solo modes wherever they can.
Well, again, Everdell's got solo, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's become one of those things that the corona epidemic was one of those events.
Game-changing moments.
It has changed the face of everything that we do on this planet as a species. So we'll leave the discussion about whether that's an appropriate response to maybe another forum, because obviously as a healthcare professional I have fucking opinions, but we'll leave them out of this for now. What do people think? Do you think is this a growing trend? Should this worry us? Or is it always going to be the thing with our game is always going to be the thing with our hobby? It's always going to be about people. It's always going to be about community. It's always going to be about the human beings.
This is what I was just about to say, right?
Yeah, Darren.
When you wander into your FLGS, your friendly local gaming store,
or gaming club in this country.
Yeah. And you feel welcomed and you've got games planned, or again, like, you only have to look at me and Paul as hobbyists and gamers at our club. You're booked out till what? May now?
Yeah, mid-May. Mid-May, yeah.
I'm booked out until early April for games and gaming with people, because again, me and Paul are hobby advocates. We won't say no to anything. We'll try anything and everything, won't we, mate? We
will. And like you say, there are a couple of games where you and I are the flag wavers. So we actively try and recruit. It's like recently when obviously we've had some dissent
down and that.
Well, we've had some dissent about, if you remember from the Sunday night chat on last week, there was that comment about 40k, and I said, look, let's just get some Grimdark Future played. Let's just do it, and you've got to get behind that when it crops up.
Yeah, you got to encourage it.
But
again, even just encouraging newer members of the hobby to sit down, get paint on miniatures, get some enjoyment out of games and projects that they've got going for a particular system they like. Trevor is one that particularly springs to mind here. It's lovely to see Trevor enjoying painting his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor is a great example, actually, because, I mean, to be fair, even his painting activity he only does at club.
Yeah.
Now, that is a fucking social butterfly for you. He doesn't even do his painting at home on his own, you know? It's great. And the thing is, this is it. It's about... It's just so... I just feel, maybe I've been doing this too long, but, you know... The social element of our hobby is so precious. I hate to see it, or hate to think that it might be at risk.
Yeah, relegated.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's nice elements to talking on a online forum.
Yeah.
But there's something about in person, knowing, for example, I'm having issues painting something. And when I take photos, they don't tend to be the best photos. You've seen them all here on stream, haven't you? The minis don't look anywhere near as good as in the flesh. Even you've said that, Ginge.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's nice, if I'm having self-confidence and doubts, to be able to bounce off other people and get their feedback, get their opinions, get their input on a game. I mean, you helped me build my Infinity list because I had no fucking idea what I was doing.
Yeah, but to be fair, if you'd have done like 20 or 30 hours of research online, you'd have got there.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Why should... Here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why should I do 20 or 30 hours of research when I have a friend?
Yeah, that is a very valid point, and that's, a point well made.
Let's lean on each other for hobby, because again, I lean on you for Infinity list building, you lean on me for colour choices or painting on hard mode. We're all here and all in this hobby for the enjoyment of the hobby. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I would hope so, because ultimately it is a hobby, and Christ, if you're not enjoying it, what the hell are you doing? Unless it is your living, in which case...
here it comes. Here comes Tim.
What?
Sit down and paint my Assassin's Creed. Oh, don't get me wrong, Cheese. Me doing research is fun, particularly if you're doing like a historical.
Oh my god! Don't get me started. All right, fucking
bolt action historicals. Yes, yes, please.
Bolt action vehicle markings. My mare currently. Don't even go there.
But
please God.
Again, if you've got somebody...
Please somebody invent a time machine. I need to go back to 1938 fucking Singapore.
If you
just say
have somebody, or again, a group project, do you know what I mean? Of both painting a historical army, somebody's painting Germans and British or Americans from the same particular scenario, and doing that research together. I know I'm never going to get away from Assassin's Creed until it's done, Trevor. Why do you think I'm running away from it constantly?
Oh, dear. It won't stop him trying, Trev. It won't stop him trying.
If I have ample opportunity to work on something else, guess what? I'm taking it.
He's bailing. He's bailing.
Hence why I'm currently here priming club miniatures rather than working on Assassin's Creed. Because it's another job that needs to get done after a year of being sat on my desk.
Disgusting. I think, just to set context as well, though, I don't think that, I'm certainly not saying, and I don't think David would either, that we don't want to come across as criticising or vilifying people who, for whatever reason, find it more convenient or more practical to be solo hobbyists. Perhaps people who only paint for display, so they don't really need to play games, or they don't have any interest in seeing...
Or again, they have busy lives, wives and children, and therefore the only time they get away is to get away and paint for a couple of hours, because that's their escape.
Yeah, it's their decompression time. So yeah, I would want to be absolutely clear that we're not, saying that
we're not a lynch mob over here.
Yeah, you people are not doing anything wrong. And obviously, if it's cool for you, it's cool for you. But I would always say to somebody, even if you are that sort of guy where you only like to play solo board games or solo card games, or you routinely only paint models on your own for yourself, and you don't have any other external interactions.
Trevor, what bolt action bet? Paul is actually terrified that he's going to lose that bet. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, even if it's an online thing, like was it Limburger who said that him and his mate had a WhatsApp painting session? Or was it Darren?
Well, again, when the Great Plague arrived, what did we do?
Yeah, jumped on Discord a lot more. Or Messenger, actually, it was initially, wasn't it?
Yeah, Messenger every single night.
Pretty much.
Because the world was driving us insane.
So, even if it's not something that's in your normal repertoire, try it. Just try it. it's amazing how much it's Darren. Yeah, WhatsApp. It's amazing what bringing other people into whatever you're doing. Christ, even if all you're doing is theory crafting a character for a D&D campaign,
It's productive.
Even building D&D I mean, maybe I'm weird. I find even building D&D characters is more fun as a group.
Oh, definitely.
Are you? I don't know. I think Limburger's trolling us.
We're not.
Yes, Crispin, but we're not talking about that. Crispin says, "That's what I say. Just try it. You might like." I can imagine the way you would say it as well, Crispin.
Is there a rag that smells strangely of chloroform as well?
I like that, Tim. See what Tim's bought. You're not a lynch mob. Why have I brought these torches? Tim, you bought them because you're German and you're just thorough. So, although we don't need them, it's good to know that we do have torches and pitchforks should we need them. That's genius.
What, the lynch mob comment or the...
Well, yeah, just all of it. Brilliant.
Chat. Again, all of the interactions with you guys. It's fun to see you come back. It's fun to see you chat and interact with everyone. We're all a bunch of random weirdos on the internet sat here doing things on a Thursday evening or Thursday morning if you're Crispin. But we enjoy your company.
Very much so. Very much so. You guys make this, this whole experience, frankly. Doing this without the audience is not even a fraction of its...
entertainment value.
Well, I wasn't thinking necessarily so much for the entertainment, but just the satisfaction for us of doing it.
Yeah.
Your contribution is just absolutely critical, and I hope you guys understand, as an audience, how much you transform this whole experience for us. I know that's probably not the way it's supposed to work, and it's supposed to be more our work entertaining you, but it doesn't work that way, I'm afraid. So
it's a bit of give and take.
That's
on
just
everyone's
the way.
part.
That's just the way it is. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything else I wanted to say really. I know
But
we've
again, it's like you've already said though, like we've already touched on this evening. GW are happy to anonymise painters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they'll pay Becca Scott to come in and teach people how to play the board game. Like, there's Becca Scott videos on how to play Warcry.
Is there? I didn't
Yes.
realise they'd done that. How fucking retarded is this company? So basically, they're sort of like anti-cult of personality, and yet they're paying personalities.
Cult of personality to come and tell people how to play their games.
Can anyone think of a corporate entity that's got a shakier grasp on fucking reality? Because frankly, I'm struggling to think of one. What is going on down at the old fucking Games Workshop?
I genuinely have no idea. And again, give your fucking painters some credit because they're the ones that make your models appear 10 times more beautiful than just some grey plastic. Like that fucking miniature that we were cooing over earlier, the Kotek one or whatever it was for the fucking salamanders.
Yeah.
Some fucker painted that. Some fucker put hours into that for that press release. Were they credited? Were they fuck?
And to be honest, I don't think that their ultimate aim is going to be served. I don't think it's going to make a shit bit of difference. whether, if the intention is that these people, if you're telling me that you're a super talented painter working on Games Workshop's heavy metal team, and because they haven't been able to give you a platform to sell your skills to the world, if you're telling me that that's going to seriously impact your chances of finding gainful employ elsewhere should you seek it out, I call bullshit. I just don't think it's going to make... I mean, that's another thing that maybe we need to acknowledge here. There's a massive amount of egotism in this from Games Workshop. It's like, oh yeah, well, if we do this, you're going to be shackled and bound to us till the day you die. Fuck off. You know, who the fucking hell do these people think they are? It's absolutely farcical.
Yeah, it is. I'm just looking here. We've got Activision popping up in the comments and office politics. I mean, again, some of this is fucking egotistical cock measuring from managers, higher-ups, everything else. But they are also just a nameless cog in the wheel because it's GW we're referring to here, not the guy called Steve in the HR department. Who probably had to make this statement to the professionals.
What's the comment about the video games industry?
Like, again, credits in video game industry. I mean,
I was going to say,
Trevor,
the credit...
They're actually pretty good. They will say, like, the design studio and everything else.
The credits in most AAA titles that I've finished recently, as in the last 5 years, are fucking ridiculous. They're longer than most fucking Hollywood film credit reels. They're everybody and his fucking dog. I mean, they even have, like, babies that were born on this project. I mean, Jesus Christ, if you're telling me there's somebody they forgot to credit it, it's probably just because they ran out of RAM. It's just nuts. And I am being slightly facetious, Tim, before you say, old man doesn't know how technology works. But do you see my point? I just don't fucking understand the logic at all. To be fair, I don't understand. As we said, please refer to our previous comment.
I think they have been bitten by Duncan and then Peachy jumping boat. And then Duncan going on and having his Kickstarter with his 2 thin coats and that being nice and popular and his own painting channel. Admittedly, he's still covering GW shit. It's not like he's walked out of the door and gone, right, well, that GW chapter of my life's disappeared.
Yeah, he still paints their minis and shit. But again,
still Peachy makes reference to his days at GW in his fucking content.
But again, what are they hoping to achieve? Because if they're hoping that there'll never be another Peachy or another Duncan, it'll not. There will be. The answer. The only reason there would never be another Peachy or another Duncan is if, frankly, those people feel so valued and have their earning potential so rewarded that they're never going to leave the company, because why the fuck would I take a risk going alone when I've got great fucking...
salary, benefits, everything.
Yeah,
the work-life balance is awesome. I can work from home, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, that's how you retain an employee, not fucking... make them put a bag over their head so that they're an anonymous fucking robot. What, you think that's going to make them stay? I got news. Possibly not. Just saying. I just don't know. And again, this is why, if that is it, if that is the thing, oh, well, we don't want another Peachy, we don't want another fucking Duncan, you're mad. If you think this is actually going to make a shit bit of difference to that, you are off your head. And in fact, actually, it's totally the opposite effect. Because if there's one thing as a creative that would make me feel utterly pissed off and undervalued and then leave, it would be shit like that. I mean, let's just call out the music industry, right? There are people who leave job of a lifetime jobs in bands, musicians, They get the job of a lifetime playing bass or drums in X rock group, and it is like a ticket, a meal
To
ticket,
everywhere.
and yet they still leave those jobs because they feel creatively stifled. They want to
Or
do
fall out
something
with
else.
their work colleagues.
Yeah, or like you say, personal issues maybe. But there are a million reasons why they don't. You don't fucking making them stand on stage and wear a plastic bag on their head won't fucking keep them. It's just absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I honestly just do not even know where it's come from or where it's going.
Again, I know they're developing it and growing it over time. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, first off, it's been the game team, game dev team, and like that, and now it's being extended to like their content creators and that kind of thing. What next? We're gonna have balaclavaed men teaching us how to play 40k 10th edition.
They'll probably just get one of these
Becca Scott. Pay Becca Scott to come and do it.
Yeah,
She's a big name. That'll sell the game. Everybody knows who Becca Scott is.
Oh no, we can't have that then. Everybody knows who she is. Everybody will think
Quick, get the plastic bag.
Oh dear. Fuck knows, mate.
Fuck's sake, fucking company. That's probably where my orders fucking disappeared, because everybody has to walk around GW with fucking plastic bags on the head so nobody can be recognised. So no fucker knows where the fucking door is to fucking get my order out and shit.
That's true.
Fucking
why has that pallet not been picked? Who was supposed to pick it? Don't know. Because we all look the same. We're all individuals.
They're all wearing fucking anonymous masks.
Yeah, they're all standing in a circle pointing at the bloke to their left. It was him. Fucking hell.
Fuck's sake. It's true though. It's fucking true.
Yeah.
Newsflash, if I don't get it by next week, I am going to be very salty. Forewarning for the people at home. Who's Becca Scott? Trevor, get out.
Salt warning, everyone. David is laying down the law.
Where's the shaker? Where's the shaker?
It's coming. It's coming.
Just search for Becca Scott on YouTube, Trevor, and you'll find her.
Red-headed woman, used to do a lot of videos on Geek and Sundry. Big into board games, role-playing games, that sort of thing. I don't know if she's done voice acting and that. She's from that stable, but I know she's done presenting and board game sort of tutorials and reviews.
Tim's
for
fucking
years.
idea as well. That's fucking brilliant for the distribution warehouse and the painters.
What's that?
GW makes painters look like luchadors with masks and all of the outfits as well.
Yeah. Yep, definitely, Tim. That would be fucking genius, mate. Ah, dear. So, I don't know if there's... I mean, I don't think there's anything more to add.
Well, again, we've already drew parallels to the fucking music and movie industry. I can't remember the lad's name that played Kylo Ren in the latest Star Wars, but he came out of kind of nowhere, did that, and now he's fucking everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's how the industry works. Find new people.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a productive evening. And it's not even the end of stream yet.
Because again, you know, there's another thing.
Yes! Darren! Fucking yes! That is a good shout. Warlord and their little packing tickets.
Oh, mate! That is such a good shout.
Your items.
Yep. That is such a good shout. Talking about the opposite side of the cultural fucking divide. That is bang on the money, mate. Yeah, you're dead right. It's, mate, it is just fucking, it's a different world. I mean, I
don't know if you find this, right? And what I'm about to say might seem very salty, particularly aimed at GW.
let me get ready.
UK Games Expo, when we've been, everyone, everywhere, on every other stand, wants to talk to you about the lore, the setting, the miniatures. Fuck me. Wayland, when we played the demo games with Darren's like, well, I've painted that, and took us over to the case and showed us what he'd painted.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then when we were saying, oh, that's really nice, Darren even held his hands up and went, no, I didn't paint that. Bear with me, I will be back in a second.
And back to the salt.
I'm back. So
Darren, is it an urgent call? Do you want me to put it on hiatus, mate? Do you want me to do a be right back?
I've told him to call me back in an hour.
Okay, that's fine, because I can stick a be right back on if it's important.
So that's that. That's one side of the coin. You go over to the GW stand. Have you seen this? Okay, yes, I have seen this. It's very nice. Who made it? And they all just look at each other blankly. Same when you go in store, it's just robotic. Are you here for anything in particular today? Well, yes, that's why I'm in a GW store, because usually I wouldn't actually frequent your stores.
Yeah, but I've come here for a bottle of bleach and a packet of 3 condoms. What the fuck do you think I'm here for? Get out of my face. Again, it's all like have a nice day corporate bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so fake.
Paul, the shaker animation is nice, but can you lose the audio from it? I find it a bit annoying. What does the rest of the crew say? I didn't even realise there was audio on the salt shaker.
Thank you for the feedback, everybody. There we go. It's gone. Thank you, Tim. Feedback is greatly appreciated, sir. Particularly as I'm just dabbling with those sort of things.
Cheese Me's made a good point here, though.
Yep.
To counter Darren with Warlord Games.
Yeah.
Putting the name in the box. At least you know the fucker that didn't pack it properly.
Sure, and that is... the motivation there is obviously not to necessarily celebrate staff so much as to motivate staff to not make errors. And I'm sure that is the primary motivation of that. Like when the picking errors come back, if they're all tracked back to the same individual, you can identify your performance issues and how to deal with it. But it's still a valid point. Ultimately, making an individual accountable at any point of a process or a job is not a bad thing. And how the fuck can it be a bad thing? Good God. Don't publicise that.
Jesus, GW will be DCMAing this fucking video now, Darren. Thanks.
Well, not only that, they'll be asking you'll be getting personal messages. Which store was that? Which staff member was talking to you about a game product other than Games Workshop?
Yeah,
we require the information.
You're going to be bundled in the back of a black van tonight, Darren, and we're never going to hear from you again.
Fucking hell.
It's stupid, though. It really is. Again, even is it Ronnie from Mantic coming on and doing the streams and talking about what's in development and that kind of thing?
Yeah, they used to have that. Oh, I can't remember the chap's name now. They had a guy who was dedicated, sort of like media front man, wasn't he? But he went away
Yeah.
to do something else. He got a job at a university or something. He went to work for a uni. So
Yeah.
Ronnie started doing more of them, and I think his son did a couple. But you know, it's
Yeah, but again, at least you can put a face to the name of the company. When GW announce something, it's always just like a bloody movie theatre trailer. Do you know what I mean? There's no human interaction, human elements to it. Even the lads at Army Painter the other week, when they were on doing their live stream, the Patreon chats on OPR, so the last Thursday of each month, they do a stream, OPR do, of what's coming next month, and teasers and development if you're part of the Patreon crew, and it's available on YouTube.
right.
That community interaction and community spirit and having a face to put to the name and the company. Some of the best companies that I see out there, and I may trigger Tim when I say this, is the 3D printing companies. How they interact in chat in their Discord groups.
Right.
How...
Because they're highly activate.
Yeah, how Matey that did Full Spectrum Dominance and his Discord group, his Facebook group, everything makes that game and community feel alive, and you can just ask a question, you get an answer, and you don't feel belittled for it. I mean, the best example I have that came this week was Punga in the Discord teased next month's miniatures. But the bloke that put them out said that they were February's miniatures. So I just made a little tongue-in-cheek comment going, I thought we'd already had February miniatures. Are these actually the March ones? And the lad came back to me and went, yeah, no, actually, I have messed up on that. I'll change that now. The fact that they can let stuff go and have a bit of banter with the community is awesome.
To be fair, though, that's the difference between a small business and a corporate entity. I think you've got to be accepting of the fact that there are certain things that come with GW being as big a company as they are.
Yeah.
That are just given. You know, that slightly less personal approach, I don't think it can be avoided to some degree. I don't know what everybody else thinks. But you know, there's a
Tim, I'm not triggered by community service, just triggered by 3D printing.
You know, some stuff, it's just like it is what it is, but not everything. You know, you can't. It's like this whole fucking culture of an anonymity and suppressing creatives' recognition and stuff like that. That's got nothing to do with being a corporate, you know, company.
It's just cash grabbing and covering asses.
There's no. Well, I just
again, it's the same reason. Like, obviously, some engineering companies have non-competitive clauses in your contract. You can't go off and work for somebody else unless you take a period of like 3, 6, or 12 months garden leave, so that you're out of the loop for 12 months on R&D development and bits and pieces.
Right.
It's like, and so gloss over that. It doesn't matter. And again, GW could get round it by putting those kind of clauses in their contract. Instead, they've taken the hard and fast approach of, no, you're not allowed anything now. You're not. Your face is not visible. It's... We need people in this hobby We need people to feel welcome. We need people to feel valued. Yes, cheese me, they are standard for any brainwork jobs. But the point is, why don't GW include it for their painting roles, their creative roles, that kind of thing?
What makes you think that they don't have?
Yeah, but again, you've got that aspect of it, and then they're still just going, oh, well, we can't have Joe Bloggs be recognised because Joe Bloggs might leave and go somewhere else and do his own thing.
I think that's you've just identified there are certain things that an employer is entirely legitimate in doing. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust this camera a little bit. I mean, the whole concept of making sure that you protect, if you're paying somebody a salary to do work and that they do it, then that work is yours and you've paid for it. It belongs to the company. It is not theirs. But no company in the world thinks for a minute, oh, well, if I give this person a skill set, the skills I've given them belong to me. And if they do think that, they're frankly mental. You know, you don't join the army and then they're suddenly like, okay, yeah, so we need to now surgically lobotomize you so that you're de-skilled at the point you leave the military and have no physical or fucking military abilities. It's like, what the fuck? You know, I just can't. You join the fucking Royal Ballet Company for fucking 20 years.
You get your legs amputated when you leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't dance.
Become a great ballet dancer, and they're like, you know, or even for 5 years, become a great ballet dancer, and you get some fucking ridiculous offer from the Russian opera or whoever the fuck, I don't really know. And they're like, yeah, but we're gonna have to cut your legs off below the knee because they're our legs now. It's like, what the fuck? You know, it's not real world. What the fuck, people? I just don't get it. I just don't understand where any of it comes from.
No. It is ridiculous.
And I don't know if I'm the only one or if everybody else agrees. But have we missed anything without this becoming the fucking Games Workshop show, which is something I absolutely need to avoid. We've got 8 minutes to go. Is there anything that anybody wants to add regarding the humanization of our hobby and our gaming? You know, is there anything that we've missed? Any subtlety or detail that we've missed that is worth mentioning?
I genuinely don't think so.
The War Hatter lad that now works for me. Tim fell asleep. Tim?
You're getting a rep.
I was going to say, mate, you are off the hook. Tim will never again be casting aspersions, as he has just admitted he fell asleep. Admittedly, he wasn't on camera. But
neither was I.
Well, no, true. You just should have been. But you were asleep. For anybody who doesn't get that, see last week's stream.
I was here shortly after normal time.
Shortly after.
I mean, I did pretty well waking up at 5:02 and arriving.
I tell you what, it's probably not a great thing to admit, but thank you for everybody who's been in the chat tonight, and congratulations on being here for our first anniversary.
I was about to say, we've not even mentioned it.
That's because we're still an unprofessional shower of shit, and you can barely tell we've been doing it for 52 minutes, let alone 52 weeks.
52 weeks.
I'm not sure who that is, Tim, the War Hatter lady. Is War Hatter, is that some sort of like moniker from YouTube or something? Or I'll be honest, again, Midwinter, I don't watch a lot. I know Midwinter Minis is a massive channel, but I don't watch a lot of his stuff because it's all, frankly, a little bit 40k centric for me.
Cheers, Darren.
Thanks very much, mate. Yeah.
What did we win?
Win?
Nothing other than putting up for us for another 52 weeks.
Yeah, you missed the point, Darren. This is a punishment. It's
when we get to 4 or 5 years, you'll have got less for murder.
Well, yeah, I was going to say. When we've done 15 years, you know that's it, and you've suffered enough, and you can stop. So, yeah. Right, mate. Have you got any last-minute table shots of what you've done tonight?
Fuck it. Yes, I will have. Let me just go to Video Ninja. Get my camera ready.
Let me put my stuff back on the turntable, and we can.
We're ready to go with my camera, mate.
Right. Content display. David, Video Ninja. Choong, fade. There we go. Oh, so what's this? This is the Dead Zone Skaven stuff, isn't it?
It's Dead Zone Skaven primed, and the GSPS.
GCPS, isn't it?
Well, whatever it is. They're all primed. I've had a really efficient evening doing that.
Bloody hell.
I've cleaned up my 3D printed minis, and I've Xenophiled 44 fucking goblins.
Jesus!
And ogres. So they've now got their bright white on top. Ready for our session in a couple of weeks, mate.
We will have to cane through those. Because it'll be good to get that asset available for people at club to explore the rank and flank gaming.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean, Crispin. Do we use a webcam to do your display? I'm actually filming on a very cheap £20 webcam from Amazon.
My face camera is a equally cheap camera from Amazon.
Yeah.
Then the video you have on screen currently,
did have, but I've gone away. I shall go back, and he can.
From Semantic Gobbos, cheese me. Is from a Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus running Video Ninja, importing into OBS. Where's the wizard? Let me see if I can find the wizard, and then you can go away from my camera. There we go. Look at him. Look at him. I think these are going to paint up beautifully with some contrast on, because we've got nice dark shadows, but then we've also got some nice bright highlights.
Yes, Limburger. It's all Mantic stuff from the Kings of War starter box.
Cheers, Ross.
Thanks, Ross. That's my good lady wife, for everybody who's interested. Bless her. Yeah, I mean, Crispin, honestly, mate, just whatever kit you've got at home, either film yourself on your mobile, use whatever cheap, crappy webcam you've got built into your computer, make a start with what you've got. Because
I'm done with my camera, mate, by the way.
You have got so much, and here's what I managed to get done. So we managed to get the skin base coat down on everything that I wanted to. We're just going to move on now. I want to put the two small guys are wearing some fabrics, so I need to get some base colours on that and get the robes painted on the priest. And then we're going to be slathering it all with washes and try and get it all ready for Monday, because I really do want to. Having failed for 1 week, I'm going to be really determined not to fail for next week.
What are you doing for painting comp, by the way, mate?
I think I'm going to do the big orc on the old death cabbage. I would love to do one of my many night kits, but the orc on the death cabbage is at least assembled or partially assembled. I found the base plate, so I should probably do that. Plus, it's going to be something I can airbrush in like 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't get excited. I'm going to paint it. It's a massive model, but I am going to be ripping off a lot of shortcuts and cheats from YouTube videos. It will be very much a speed paint, just on a massive model.
Yeah. No, the plan for those goblins, Darren, is to have a session with Paul. Paul can try some contrast. I can try some speed paints. And we're going to bang out 43 goblins and ogres in an evening, aren't we, mate?
Yeah, I mean, because again, just getting stuff tabletop ready is the way to go with club assets. If any of you have got gaming clubs, and just get the toys ready for people to play with, it just enhances the game for them. And so many people have seen us playing with the Club Armada stuff and have been like, "Oh, that looks good. I should try that." And whenever you're doing this gaming advocacy thing, just work it all into the presentation. If we don't get excited, how we're supposed to be let down. Fucking hell, Tim. Do you know what?
Ever a breath of fresh air, isn't it?
Do you know what? Thank you for the dark, dripping, catacomb-like tunnels of your mind, Timothy. Jeez Louise. So, it's 10 o'clock, mate. It's time, I think, to call it. Thank you very much, everybody who was here tonight for our anniversary show. We hope you enjoyed the topic. And do you know what? If you've got any tales to tell, or tell us in the comments below about what's your most heartwarming, or the story that means the most to you about another human interaction in the hobby that really spelled out for you that, yeah, it's a big part of the hobby and it's what matters for you. And we will see the all of you guys next week, I guess.
Yeah, we will.
And the other thing is, I will be watching this back after the fact, and thank you for indulging me within my animated GIF thing, which I have been sort of wrestling with and deciding what to do with. I apologise if it was disruptive, if the audio was too loud, or if it was just frankly irritating. Feedback down below. It's something I'm going to be playing with the stream, and as we're still winging it, guys. We're still making it up as we go along. I don't have a great skill set and script, so feedback is what I need to know when I'm doing stupid stuff that people don't want. At least I can stop then. Right, so thank you very much, guys. If you can only do one thing, please like the stream.
It helps so much with exposure and recommendations for us to other people. It's appreciated. If you got time for anything else, even more appreciation is given by ourselves. But yeah, if that's all you can do, then do it. And we will see you guys next week. Have a great week of gaming and hobby. Night, lads.